Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has been one of the most beloved and inspiring figures in entertainment for years. From his WWE days to blockbuster films, his larger-than-life personality and hard work mantra made him a role model to millions. But recently, something has shifted. Fans who once admired him are quietly slipping away. Millions of followers disappearing from his social media every hour. The question on everyone's mind is, why? Is it the mounting controversies, unanswered questions about his authenticity, or a growing disconnect between the man behind the image and the person fans thought they knew? Whatever the cause, The Rock's rapid decline in popularity marks a surprising and painful chapter in the story of a global icon once seen as untouchable. From rejection to reinvention. The birth of The Rock. Dwayne Johnson wasn't born into stardom. Though he came from wrestling royalty, his father, Rocky Johnson, and grandfather, Peter Maivia, were both wrestling legends. His early journey was riddled with rejection and uncertainty. A failed attempt at a professional football career left him aimless and broke. By 1996, he debuted in WWE under the name Rocky Maivia, a clean-cut, smiling babyface character intended to be the next great hero. But fans didn't buy it. The cheers quickly turned into boos. "Rocky sucks," chants echoed across arenas. His character felt forced, manufactured for approval. Instead of crumbling, Johnson made a bold move. He leaned into the hate and reinvented himself. Out emerged The Rock, a cocky, eyebrow-raising, trash-talking heel who oozed charisma and confidence. His signature phrase, "If you smell what The Rock is cooking," became a cultural phenomenon. He was electric. The fans who once rejected him were now chanting his name. It was his first great reinvention, and it wouldn't be his last. Hollywood dreams and hard lessons. But wrestling was only the beginning. Johnson had bigger dreams, and they led him to Hollywood. His early roles in The Scorpion King, 2002, and The Rundown, 2003, showed promise, but critics were lukewarm. He was still trapped in his wrestling persona, unable to break into the kind of complex leading man roles he wanted. It wasn't until Fast Five, 2011, that he found his cinematic breakthrough. As Luke Hobbs, a tough, wisecracking government agent, he became the injection of adrenaline the Fast and Furious franchise needed. With that role, The Rock became one of the highest-paid and most bankable actors in Hollywood. He appeared everywhere, from animated hits like Moana to action blockbusters to hosting reality shows and launching businesses. His brand was simple but effective. Work hard, stay humble, motivate others. He was the guy who woke up at 4 a.m. to lift weights and post motivational videos. A Hollywood superhero who was also a down-to-earth family man. A rare celebrity who seemed untouched by scandal. But beneath the polish, something fragile lingered. Cracks in the armor. The feud heard around the world. In 2016, fans got their first glimpse behind the curtain. During filming of The Fate of the Furious, Johnson posted a now infamous Instagram message criticizing some of his male co-stars for being candy asses and lacking professionalism. Though he didn't name names, it was clear he was talking about Vin Diesel. The public feud exploded. Reports emerged that Johnson demanded certain contract clauses. He wouldn't lose fights on screen, he wanted more screen time, and he insisted on being portrayed as the dominant character in group scenes. What was once seen as team spirit and humility was now interpreted as ego and control. Fans were shocked. The Rock was supposed to be the nice guy, the motivator, not the diva. Johnson attempted to course correct. He deleted the post and shared a follow-up video focused on unity and collaboration. But the damage was done. The illusion had cracked. For the first time, fans wondered, was Dwayne Johnson more interested in protecting his brand than being real? The in-and-out incident, a small lie with big implications. Sometimes it's not the grand scandals that cause the most damage. It's the small, seemingly innocent lies. Between 2017 and 2023, Johnson posted several videos and photos of himself at In-N-Out Burger, each time claiming it was his first time trying the fast food chain. In 2017, he shared a photo. Never been to In-N-Out before. In 2022, a video, "This is my very first time trying In-N-Out." Then again in 2023, he posted a similar video, again calling it a first-time experience, as if the past two never happened. In each instance, he played up the novelty, fumbling through the menu, acting surprised by the flavors, and patting himself on the back for leaving a generous tip. But fans remembered. Social media sleuths quickly dug up the previous posts and exposed the contradiction. YouTuber Penguin Zero, aka Moiscar1 Thai KL, released a viral video compiling the evidence. "He keeps pretending it's his first time," he said. "It's bizarre and unnecessary." Others piled on, mocking the idea that someone with a team of PR experts could forget a publicity stunt he repeated multiple times. Eventually, Johnson edited his latest caption to say "first-time experience again," and thanked fans for reminding him he had tried it before. But the damage was already done. The physique debate, steroids, image, and the myth of natural greatness. Perhaps the most contested part of The Rock's image is also the most visible: his body. At 51, Dwayne Johnson still maintains a physique that would challenge men half his age. Veins bulging, muscles sculpted, and abs etched like a statue, he's become the ultimate symbol of gym dedication. He often posts 4 a.m. training videos, accompanied by hashtags like hashtag hardest worker in the room and hashtag Iron Paradise. He claims to eat between 6,000 and 8,000 calories per day, a figure that many fans took as gospel. But fitness experts quickly questioned the numbers. Greg Doucette, a prominent coach and YouTuber, called it absurd. "You don't stay that lean eating that much food," he said. "He'd be 100 pounds heavier." Others pointed out inconsistencies in his workout videos. In one, he's shown struggling during squats with relatively light weights. Doucette again chimed in, "This is like lifting a bag of groceries for him. He's acting, it's theater." But the bigger controversy lies in the question Johnson avoids: steroids. He's claimed publicly that he tried steroids once at 18, but never again. Yet his physique, even by professional bodybuilding standards, seems unnaturally large and lean for a man his age. Joe Rogan didn't mince words. There's no way he's not on something. Former world's strongest man Eddie Hall suggested he might be using TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. Others believe it's a combination of anabolic steroids and hormone management. The Maui fundraiser, fallout, good intentions, poor execution. In 2023, the wildfires that swept through Maui left a trail of destruction and heartbreak. Communities were displaced, homes were lost, and the world watched in shock and sympathy. Naturally, when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson announced a fundraiser alongside Oprah Winfrey to help the victims, many hoped it would be a beacon of hope amid the tragedy. The cause was undeniably noble, driven by genuine concern, or so it seemed. Johnson and Oprah each pledged $5 million and urged fans and the public to contribute what they could. But what was meant to be an inspiring call to action quickly became a lightning rod for criticism. Many people pointed out the glaring disconnect between the celebrities' enormous wealth and the relatively modest amounts they contributed. In a time when everyday Americans were still grappling with inflation, stagnant wages, and job uncertainty, Johnson's public request for donations from fans felt, to some, less like a call for community support and more like a demand placed on those already struggling. The backlash wasn't just about the numbers, it was about tone and timing. Critics argued that celebrities with such vast fortunes should lead by example through quiet, substantial donations, rather than asking their followers to dig into their wallets. Asking working-class people, many barely scraping by, to give money when the wealthiest among them contributed less than expected felt tone-deaf. For many, the fundraiser became a symbol of a larger problem: the gap between celebrity philanthropy as a genuine effort and celebrity philanthropy as a public relations move. The burden of being a brand. Dwayne Johnson is no longer just the charismatic wrestler turned Hollywood star that millions fell in love with. Today, he is a brand, a meticulously crafted persona shaped by teams of publicists, marketers, and social media strategists. Every smile, every workout video, every motivational post is carefully choreographed to maintain a particular image: The Rock as the ultimate symbol of grit, resilience, and good-hearted success. For years, fans connected with that image because it felt real. They saw The Rock as one of them, a guy who had fought hard to climb out of adversity, who never took shortcuts and whose success was built on relentless discipline and authenticity. But as the cracks began to show, the questionable claims about his diet, the carefully staged social media moments and public missteps, the illusion started to crumble. What emerges now is a person weighed down by the burden of expectation. When you become a living brand, your identity is no longer entirely your own. It's shaped by what audiences want, by what sponsors demand, and by what keeps the spotlight shining. This constant performance can blur the lines between the real self and the public persona, making it hard to tell where the man ends and the myth begins. Fans start to wonder, is the laughter genuine? Are the heartfelt messages sincere, or just part of a carefully scripted routine? And more fundamentally, when your entire life is spent trying to please everyone, never offending, always inspiring, do you lose sight of who you truly are? The road ahead, redemption or reinvention? Despite the controversies and the fall from grace in some circles, Dwayne Johnson's story is far from over. He remains an incredibly influential figure with a vast and loyal fan base. His charisma, work ethic, and undeniable talent still resonate with many. But if he wants to rebuild trust and reconnect with those who have turned away, something has to change. Redemption won't come from another carefully planned campaign or a polished apology video. It requires something far more challenging: vulnerability, accountability, and a willingness to embrace imperfection. Fans crave authenticity, real stories about struggles, failures, and growth. They want to see the man behind the mask, not just the image. Reinvention might be the path forward, but it can't be just about reinventing the brand. It has to start with reinventing himself on his own terms. That means acknowledging mistakes openly, being honest about his journey, and letting go of the need to appear invincible. It means showing not just the highlight reels of success, but the quiet moments of doubt, pain, and resilience that make a person truly relatable. The Rock's legacy is still being written. Will he choose to step off the treadmill of perfection and connect with his fans as a flawed but genuine human being? Or will he continue to cling to the polished persona, risking further alienation? The body that defies time, natural or not. One of the most fiercely debated topics about The Rock is his physique. At over 50 years old, Johnson maintains a level of muscularity, leanness, and physical conditioning that many find almost impossible to achieve naturally. In his 30s, photos and footage show a powerful, athletic man, but not quite the Herculean figure he displays today. Now, at an age when most men begin to lose muscle mass and face metabolic slowdowns, The Rock looks bigger and leaner than ever. This has led many fitness experts and fans alike to question, is it even possible to achieve such a body without assistance? The conversation usually turns to performance-enhancing drugs, PEDS, and in particular, testosterone replacement therapy, TRT. TRT is a medically supervised treatment to restore hormone levels in men whose natural production declines with age. Unlike the often misunderstood term hormone replacement therapy, HRT, which can include a variety of hormones, TRT specifically involves testosterone. When administered correctly, TRT can improve energy, mood, muscle mass, and overall vitality, making it a legitimate and beneficial medical treatment for many men. The myth of hard work alone. For years, The Rock has been a motivational beacon, preaching that hard work, discipline, and persistence are the keys to success. His social media platforms are filled with videos of early morning workouts, massive meals, and inspirational quotes. To many fans, he was proof that sheer willpower could overcome any obstacle. But this narrative now feels increasingly fragile, even misleading. As more pieces of evidence emerge, the once invincible image of the man who built his body and career on hard work alone begins to crack. If he is indeed using a cocktail of substances to maintain his size and stamina, then the inspirational message risks becoming a sweet lie, a dream sold to young people that they cannot realistically achieve by effort alone. This has sparked fierce backlash online. Memes mocking the phrase hard work or hard injections have proliferated, while critics argue that he sells protein shakes and lifestyle products wrapped in the illusion of natural greatness. Fans who once proudly supported his brand feel betrayed, having invested in endorsed products and bought into his story, only to suspect their idol might be hiding the truth. The silent response, dodging the truth. Perhaps the most painful part of the growing controversy surrounding Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson isn't just the whispers of steroid use or the questions about his authenticity, it's how he has chosen to respond. When fans, critics, or even reporters have pressed him for clarity, Johnson rarely offers a straightforward answer. Instead, he often responds with a practiced smile, vague statements, or reverts to his familiar mantra: hard work. This evasive dance leaves many feeling frustrated and disappointed. In a world where transparency is increasingly demanded, especially from public figures, silence can speak volumes. The Rock, once celebrated for his openness and relatability, now feels like a distant figure carefully guarding his image behind a wall of rehearsed responses. The refusal to address these doubts head-on fuels suspicion rather than quelling it. Fans begin to question what other truths might be hidden beneath the surface, behind the carefully curated Instagram posts and meticulously scripted interviews. Black Adam. Ambition meets reality. The release of Black Adam in 2022 was meant to be a triumphant moment for Johnson, a bold declaration that he wasn't just an actor, but a visionary shaping a new era of superhero cinema. As both a star and a producer, Johnson had invested deeply, both emotionally and financially, in this project. The film was supposed to launch a new DC superhero universe with him at the helm, positioning him as a dominant force in Hollywood beyond his wrestling legacy. But the reality was far from the dream. While Black Adam pulled in nearly $400 million worldwide, a number that looks impressive on paper, the truth behind the scenes painted a different story. Industry insiders revealed that the combined production and marketing budget had ballooned to around $260 million. And for the film to turn a profit, it needed to gross roughly $600 million, factoring in distribution costs and revenue splits. Falling short by such a wide margin meant Black Adam was a financial failure, with estimated losses ranging between $50 and $100 million. What hurt the most, though, wasn't just the money. It was Johnson's reaction, or lack thereof. Instead of owning the setback, he chose to leak misleading information suggesting the film was, in fact, profitable, pointing to streaming deals and other ancillary revenue streams. However, these claims were quickly debunked by trusted industry sources and trade publications like The Hollywood Reporter, which called Johnson's narrative delusional and exposed the film's true financial woes. Controversies beyond the screen. Johnson's troubles extended beyond rumors about his physique and the fate of his movies. In 2022, when Joe Rogan, a controversial podcast host, faced backlash for using racial slurs in past episodes, Johnson publicly defended him on Instagram. Calling Rogan a great friend and praising his handling of the situation, Johnson's endorsement felt like a misstep to many fans. The defense of Rogan was met with a wave of criticism. Many saw it as tacit approval of Rogan's offensive language and behavior, which alienated a portion of Johnson's audience. When confronted with the backlash, Johnson issued an apology, explaining that he hadn't been fully aware of the controversy before commenting, a response that some interpreted as a lack of due diligence and conviction. Later, Johnson appeared on Rogan's podcast, where his performance further disappointed fans. Instead of engaging in a dynamic, balanced conversation, Johnson dominated the discussion, firing off question after question without giving Rogan much room to respond. The episode was described as dull and one-sided, leading many to mock Johnson as a living ChatGPT, a figure who delivers safe, generic answers devoid of personal opinions or real passion. The Maui fundraiser fallout. In 2023, when devastating wildfires ravaged parts of Maui, Johnson and Oprah Winfrey stepped forward with a public fundraiser to support relief efforts. Both pledged $5 million, a generous sum by most standards, and encouraged their followers to donate what they could to help those affected. However, the fundraising effort quickly became controversial. Critics questioned why two of the world's wealthiest individuals were soliciting donations from ordinary people, many of whom were themselves facing economic hardship. The optics of asking financially struggling fans to open their wallets while contributing relatively modest amounts themselves struck a chord of frustration. Johnson responded with an apology video, acknowledging the backlash and promising to do better in the future. But this cycle of criticism and apology deepened the perception that Johnson's public stances often shifted to appease critics rather than reflect genuine conviction. Meanwhile, Johnson's social media presence increasingly resembled a non-stop advertising campaign. Around 75% of his Instagram posts featured promotional content, from tequila brands to luxury tour buses, earning him the nickname Dwayne the Ad Johnson. Fans expressed fatigue, feeling that the man they once admired had transformed into little more than a corporate spokesperson, a figure whose personal beliefs seemed secondary to commercial interests. The WWE return and the fall from grace. Perhaps the most heartbreaking blow to Johnson's legacy came in early 2024 when he returned to WWE, where his journey began, not just as a performer, but as a member of the board of directors. He promised to build for and serve the people, rekindling hope that he would help nurture the next generation of wrestlers with the same passion and fairness he had shown in his own career. But then, only 10 days later, Johnson stepped into the main event storyline for WrestleMania 40, directly challenging Roman Reigns, the reigning WWE champion. This move sidelined Cody Rhodes, a beloved young star who had won the Royal Rumble and was widely expected to face Reigns. Rhodes' sudden decision to step aside sparked widespread speculation that Johnson's backstage influence forced him out of the spotlight. The lessons of The Rock's fall. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was once the embodiment of hard work, optimism, and authenticity. He was the underdog who made good, a relatable guy who seemed just like one of us, grinding it out and succeeding through sheer determination. His rise from wrestler to Hollywood superstar was inspiring, and millions followed his journey, rooting for him every step of the way. But lately that image has started to crumble. The contradictions between his public persona and private actions have become harder to ignore. Missteps like the mishandled Maui fundraiser, the evasive responses about his health and fitness, and the disappointing Black Adam fallout have cast shadows on his once untouchable reputation. His Instagram following, which used to grow by millions every month, now shrinks by thousands every day. Film projects get delayed or quietly shelved, and whispers of controversy follow his name wherever he goes. The Rock's true legacy, embracing imperfection and authenticity. In the end, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's story is a reminder of how fragile fame and admiration can be when built on polished images rather than genuine connection. His rise was inspiring because it felt real, a hard-working man beating the odds. But as the layers of carefully managed branding grew, cracks began to show. Missteps, evasions, and controversies chipped away at the trust fans once had in him. The fall from grace wasn't sudden. It was a slow unraveling fueled by a growing gap between persona and reality. Yet this story isn't just about decline. It's about possibility. The Rock still holds immense influence and a loyal following. If he chooses to embrace vulnerability, admit his flaws, and speak with sincerity, there's every chance he can rebuild what was lost. Authenticity is what people crave most in a world saturated with carefully curated perfection. Ultimately, the question is not if The Rock can make a comeback, but whether he's willing to let go of the perfect image and be human, open, honest, and imperfect. Because that is where true connection lives, and only from there can he write the next most meaningful chapter of his legacy. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more valuable updates.